Hello, this is Credit Concepts by Eduardo Torres, Alberto Tamez, Tomas Elizondo, Carlos Garcia, and Ibarra. This video is brought to you by your fabulously fabulous Fabios. So what exactly is Reddit? Not Reddit, credit. Before we begin, we need to establish an important concept called economy. Economy is the production, distribution, and trade of limited goods. So that's production, distribution, and trade of what? Of limited goods, because we live, as we've seen before, in a scarce economy. So production would be the factories, distribution would be the logistics, and trade would be, of course, spending and receiving income for said limited goods. Alright, how does this work? What does this revolve around? Money. It revolves around beautiful money. And that's economy for you guys. The economy grows, the economy sinks, the economy grows, the economy sinks. It's a natural process, it's a human behavioral process. So back to credit. As we said before, or no, as we haven't said before, we're gonna set an easy example. So let's say you have this store, right? And this store is called Banana. Banana sells banana watches, and the new banana watches come in different flavors and sizes. So let's say you want to spend $10,000 in the new gold banana watch. Alright, then you go to the store and you pay $10,000 and you leave happy with your new banana watch. Of course, this is not possible for everyone. Sadly, not everyone has $10,000 to buy a banana watch. What do you do then? You go to the Federal Reserve, to a bank, and you go ask for the magic word credit. So let's define credit. Credit is a contractual agreement. You need money to buy your banana watch. You don't have the money, so you go to, let's say, a bank. You ask the bank for, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 credit coins, okay? But you have to promise, of course, to repay said money to the bank. Of course, you cannot only pay back the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 credits. You need to pay, let's say, one more. That's called interest. Every credit loan has an interest rate. So there you have it, guys. That's the easiest definition of credit. So as you can see, credit can make a man happy because now he can buy his banana watch. But let's look at the bigger picture. Let's look at credit in the world. So the world has a world economy, right? And the world economy, of course, revolves around money. Yens, euros, dollars, whatever you want to have it, okay? So how can credit help the world economy grow faster? So let me tell you a secret. Credit is the most important part of the economy. Why? Because it's volatile and because it's complicated. So let me explain it. With credit, you have borrowers and you have lenders. Borrowers is someone that can't afford something with the money they have already, and lenders are people who want to make more money off the money they already have. So a borrower goes to a lender and asks for money, and the lender gives him credit back. This way, the guy can spend more, and guys, spending drives the economy. So if the guy has more money, he can now spend more in, let's say, an apple, in a banana watch, okay? But therefore, another person receives more income. Why? Because one person's spending is another person's income. Let's say that again. One person's spending is another person's income. Okay? Spending drives the economy. Also, the more you spend, the more somebody makes, right? The more somebody makes, the more somebody's credit worthy. This means he'll be able to repay debt, and that he also has liable assets that can be sold in case he can't repay the debt. So let's go back to the economic cycle. The more you receive as income, the more you can borrow. And the more you can borrow, you have more money, so you can spend more. Now, of course, the more you spend, that means the more somebody's producing. And the more somebody's producing, the more somebody's making. And it's a cycle, it's an economic cycle. But also remember, somebody's spending is another person's income. So that's where the cycle goes up. If this guy spends more, then somebody else makes more, then somebody else borrows more, and so the cycle goes. That's an economic cycle. So lenders would borrow their money so they can increase with the interest rate. Of course, there's a risk of people not paying back, but the possibility sometimes, and the benefits, of course, beat the negative side of it. So that's why credit is such an important part of the economy. So now let's imagine an economy without credit. One person's income is another person's spending, right? That means that the more you receive as income, the more somebody can spend. And the only way the economy could go up would be through production, through productivity. It will be a stable economy, a borrowing economy, but that means we're still missing borrowing out of the picture. So without credit, the only way to grow would be throughout increasing production. So now let's say somebody is not able to pay back their debt. So when somebody can't pay their debt and they don't have liable assets to sell in order to repay the debt, then the borrower is broke and the lenders, the banks, the institutions, they lose money. And this is how big economic problems are created. Now, you have to understand borrowing is a risk situation. It's an investment that involves risk. And there are really no risks. There are really no investments without risk in the economic world. Every single investment has a risk. It might be a high risk or it might be a low risk. So let's say the economy is doing great, okay? We have an economic expansion. So spending over quantity, that is the definition of price. But when spending increases or the quantity increases, we have price inflation. Inflation is a big deal, and who controls inflation? The president of the central bank of the country. So this is the central bank. So let's say inflation has increased tremendously. What does the central bank or the president of the central bank do? He raises interest rates. Why? So people borrow less money, therefore spend less, therefore inflation drops. Okay, so this is how it works. This guy wants to borrow, but now the interest rate is higher, it's much higher, so he can't borrow anymore, so he'll spend less. So as I said before, the interest rates or inflation will decrease. So let's wrap things up. The more you spend, the more somebody makes, right? But if you're borrowing less, that means you're spending less, that means somebody else is making less. This term is defined as deflation. Deflation normally causes recessions, such as the recession in 2008. But that is a topic for another video. Thank you for watching, and I guess we are in debt with you.